Hello, it is I, your friendly neighborhood Holy Bible explainer. I hope that you will read through the Bible with me. I've made it easy. They're all recorded. You can start at Genesis 1 and read all the way to the end of Revelation. It will be difficult, but at the end I will salute you. I would buy you McDonald's if you complete all of them from Genesis 1 all the way to Revelation. But there's no way I can send you McDonald's, If I send it to you in the mail, it's not possible. It's physically impossible. Okay, let's continue with Leviticus 7. The guilt offering. I'll try to go faster. These are the regulations. For the guilt offering, which is most holy, the guilt offering is to be slaughtered in the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered, and its blood is to be splashed against the sides of the altar. All its fat shall be offered. The fat tail and the fat that covers the internal organs, both kidneys with the fat on them near the loins, and the long lobe of the liver, which is to be removed from the kidneys. The priest shall burn them on the altar as a food offering, presented to the Lord. It is a guilt offering. Any male in the priest's family may eat it, but it must be eaten in the sanctuary area. It is most holy. The same law applies to both the sin offering. There's a note here. It says, or purification offering, and the guilt offering. They belong to the priest who makes atonement with them. The priest who offers a burnt offering for anyone may keep its hide for himself. Oh. Every grain offering baked in an oven or cooked in a pan or on a griddle belongs to the priest who offers it. And every grain offering, whether mixed with olive oil or dry, belongs equally to all the sons of Aaron. The fellowship offering. These are the regulations for the fellowship offering. Anyone may present to the Lord. If they offer it as an expression of thankfulness, then along with this thank offering, they are to offer thick loaves made without yeast and with olive oil mixed in, thin loaves made without yeast and brushed with oil, and thick loaves of the finest flour, well kneaded and with oil mixed in, along with their fellowship offering of thanksgiving. They are to present an offering with thick loaves of bread made with yeast. So the fellowship offering, if it is an expression of thankfulness, then they can have bread with yeast. They are to bring one of each kind as an offering, a contribution to the Lord. It belongs to the priest who splashes the blood of the fellowship offering against the altar. The meat of their fellowship offering of thanksgiving must be eaten on the day it is offered. They must leave none of it till morning. If, however, their offering is the result of a vow or is a free will offering, the sacrifice shall be eaten on the day they offer it, but anything left over may be eaten on the next day. Any meat of the sacrifice left over till the third day must be burned up. If any meat of the fellowship offering is eaten on the third day, the one who offered it will not be accepted. It will not be reckoned to their credit, for it has become impure. The person who eats any of it will be held responsible. Meat that touches anything ceremonially unclean must not be eaten. It must be burned up. As for other meat, anyone ceremonially clean may eat it, but if anyone who is unclean eats any meat of the fellowship offering belonging to the Lord, they must be cut off from their people. Anyone who touches something unclean, whether human uncleanness or an unclean animal or any unclean creature that moves along the ground. There's a note. The ground. A few Hebrew manuscripts, Samaritan Pentateuch, Syriac, and Targum. Most Hebrew manuscripts, any unclean, detestable thing. So it's kind of like any creature that gives you the heebie-jeebies, you know. And then eats any of the meat of the fellowship offering belonging to the Lord must be cut off from their people. Eating fat and blood forbidden. The Lord said to Moses, "Say to the Israelites, do not eat any of the fat of cattle, sheep, or goats. The fat of an animal found dead or torn by wild animals may be used for any other purpose, but you must not eat it. Anyone who eats the fat of an animal from which a food offering may be presented to the Lord must be cut off from their people. And wherever you live, you must not eat the blood of any bird or animal. Anyone who eats blood must be cut off from their people." The priest's share. The Lord said to Moses, "Say to the Israelites, anyone who brings a fellowship offering to the Lord is to bring part of it as their sacrifice to the Lord. With their own hands they are to present the food offering to the Lord. They are to bring the fat together with the breast and wave the breast before the Lord as a wave offering. The priest shall burn the fat on the altar, but the breast belongs to Aaron and his sons. You are to give the right thigh of your fellowship offerings to the priest as a contribution. The son of Aaron who offers the blood and the fat of the fellowship offering shall have the right thigh as his share from the fellowship offerings of the Israelites. I have taken the breast that is waved and the thigh that is presented and have given them to Aaron the priest and his sons as their perpetual share from the Israelites. This is the portion of the food offerings presented to the Lord that were allotted to Aaron and his sons on the day they were presented to serve the Lord as priests, on the day they were anointed. The Lord commanded that the Israelites give this to them as their perpetual share for the generations to come. These then are the regulations for the burnt offering, the grain offering, the sin offering, the guilt offering, the ordination offering, and the fellowship offering. The fellowship offering. And remember, if it's offered with thankfulness, the bread you offer could have yeast in it, which the Lord gave Moses. These are the regulations that the Lord gave Moses. You know how to say his name in more Hebrew sounding? It's Moshe. Or it's Moishe. That sounds funnier though. It's Moshe. So imagine a long time ago, there was that burning bush. Right? God called Moses from a burning tree. He was like, Moshe, come closer, Moshe. So the Lord, that's God, the Creator. He gave Moses at Mount Sinai, in the desert of Sinai, on the day he commanded the Israelites to bring their offerings to the Lord. Let's stop right there. Thank you for listening. Let's take a look at Leviticus. There are 27 chapters in this book. We are going to get into food that is considered better or worse food, and many more regulations. Many more. So hang in there. Remember, keep God first. And spoiler alert. 2,000 years ago, there was someone named Jesus. And he sort of defeated all of this. He simplified it for us. And today, I don't need to go to the supermarket, and I'm not that wealthy, so I would buy, they wanted beef or sheep or goats, sometimes a ram, but nah. Then it could be a bird, a dove or pigeon, and if you didn't have sometimes life is up and down, I guess sometimes if you had more money, you could take beef, But they actually had to bring the entire bull, the animal there, and kill it right there. So it really doesn't apply, but if we imagine, I don't have to, for my forgiveness, but pastors really aren't priests, So they, when you go to church, there's no barbecue grill there, and then you walk up to the grill, and then the pastor meets you there. You sinned, my son, didn't you? And I'll be like, yeah, that's why I have this beef, Can you chop it all up and throw some of it at the base of the grill, and then, cook it, and then take your part, and sometimes I get some back, and then I have to eat it right here, and then forgive me because, you made atonement for me. The reason it's not that complex is because Jesus Christ, he made an ultimate sacrifice. that we will get into. And then he did away with all of this. Because not only was he arguably God in human form, the Son of God, because God is God in three persons. He was also something called the King Kohen Gadol. Yep. King Kohen Gadol is king priest, the great king priest. So when he came, he's like the new king high priest, and he could just make that decision. You know, I want to change things because it's too complex. You know. When he came, he was the top priest, but people did not recognize him as the top priest. He could just change the rules like that because he's the King Kohen Gadol. And people would say, you can't do that. You got to check with God because, you know, there's God and there's Moses and there's Aaron. But, you know, remember, he's the Son of God. He's God. So he was God, the priest. And then, well, what about Moses, you know? Well, we needed Moses because Moses would talk to God and then talk to me or you, us. But God came, like, in the flesh. So, you know, he doesn't need Moses. You know, he just talked to you directly. He was like, hi, you know. So that's what he did. Thank you for listening. Hang in there. We only have 20 more chapters to go. Keep God first. He'll take your places.